been here for like a minute.
2.
It is now 6:30 p.m. here on Thursday, April 28th, and I call the Howell Township Planning Commission meeting to order. Here we have a roll call.
Williams.
Present.
Lolio. Here. Bull.
Here.
Stanley.
Here.
Holman.
Here.
Elchin.
Here.
Vanello.
Here.
Very well. Full house tonight. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay, first item up, approval of the agenda. I have one addition I'd like to suggest under item 11, other matters to be reviewed. And I think we need to discuss a future master plan review based on the opposition we had from residents for industrial flex zones that border residential properties. The zone in question on Thule Road was changed from agricultural residential and residential with the intent of businesses from the airport expansion taking place there, and that just hasn't developed. So with the vehement opposition we had from residents in the area, I think we should probably take a look at that and see if that's still applicable. I'm not suggesting we dive into it tonight, but I want to propose that we review it and put it on a future agenda.
I think it's a good idea.
Appreciate your support, sir.
So we're going to put under 11B.
Yeah, 11B.
Does anyone else have anything for the agenda? Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the agenda as amended under 11B.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Bull. We have support.
Support.
Sorry, who said that? Support from Commissioner Vanello. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next up, the approval of the minutes. I wasn't attending this meeting, so I wasn't here in person for the discussion, but I certainly reviewed the minutes. Nothing jumped off the page at me, but for those that were here and attended that meeting, are there any suggested edits or updates or changes? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve last meeting's minutes?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Bull. Second?
Support. Second.
Support from Ms. Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, next up we have our opening call to the public. We do ask you to step up to the microphone, state your name and address, and try to keep it within a couple of minutes. So anyone who wishes to step up, now is your time. Sir?
Is it on agenda items or anything?
Well, anything within reason, I suppose. Township business is what we.
Okay, gotcha, yeah. I just wanted to make sure, so, I know some townships like split it up, like agenda only, okay. So hi, my name's Tony Maurer, I live at 5035 Campus Hill Drive over in Okemos. the reason why I'm here is I've been I do work with a group called Forum for Innovation Opportunity. We work with specifically on data center stuff, and obviously you guys had the big proposed data center here. From what I've heard, it's kind of in limbo if it'll ever come back or not. The main reason that I'm here is I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention as township officials. I know that this is a very difficult thing. There's only so much that you can do, and that frankly, the state of Michigan's put you guys in a really tough spot. I want to let you guys know there is some legislation that is that has been proposed on the state level. I have some handouts. If you guys would like them, I'd be more than happy to give them to you. It has some names of bills, what they do, and the big thing that we've been trying to push for is just a statewide 1-year moratorium. Give township like you guys some, just a little bit of time to breathe, to update your ordinances. Most ordinances that reference data centers did not have the kinds of data centers in mind that are currently being proposed. So, and I think, obviously you guys had a very highly publicized data center attempt to come in. I think voices like yours, calling on our elected representatives in Lansing to push that would go a really long ways to show from a township perspective how this stuff would be beneficial. And also anybody in the public, if you would like one of these, I'd be more than happy to give it to you. And it has contact information on specifically the members of that House Committee on Government Operations, which is where that data center moratorium legislation is currently sitting. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We get them now?
Okay, anyone else? No volunteers? Shall close our call to the public. Our next item up is the zoning board of appeals report, and we had no meeting last month. It's been a long time since we've had one. I'm not complaining. Next up is our township board report. Mr. Bull, what can you tell us?
So we had a meeting on the 13th. For those that may not have heard, some things that are nice to know. There was a resolution for a board millage renewal, which you'll see on the ballot, I believe in August. All it was is a resolution to place the millage on the ballot, so you can make your choices there. We had a new appointment to the Planning Commission, Mr. Bonello. Would you like to introduce yourself? And
Sure.
I give everyone this opportunity. I try
I don't know if
to.
you know me, but
I think I've seen this guy somewhere.
Dan
Post
Pinallo.
office, right?
I'm glad to be here.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Welcome.
We also had, it was a pretty long meeting with some IT updates. We're gonna be getting a new website. We talked about maybe going to the cloud and replacing our server, new phone system. And in this package, it looks like we're gonna be getting email addresses as a planning commission, so, it's amongst other things. I think that was pretty much it for the township meeting. Did anyone have any questions?
Just a quick one, sir.
Sure.
The village that's going on the ballot, what's the intent of that?
So, the township has a millage that the residents vote in, and it's to help supplement roads within the township. So every year, the township board votes on it. I think it collects right around, it's under $500,000 a year. That money is basically doled out to certain roads that are approved on, like gravel road projects or anything that we partner with. The road commission does all the work, but, it's for problem roads in the township if we deem that necessary, so.
Okay, so a road village, got it.
Yep,
Thank you.
And that was a renewal?
it will be a renewal.
Anything further for Commissioner Bowl? Hearing none, we shall move over to the ordinance violation report and review permits. Anything newer of note here, Jonathan?
No?
Not yet.
Okay, well, do we have any questions for Mr. Hohenstein?
Yes.
Thought so.
Jonathan, what happened with Wes and the camper? And he's not on the list.
Wes actually left the property. We have had calls that he has come back, so Tom was looking into that. But once he left, I mean, everything was done and complete, so.
Okay, nothing further. We'll move on to our scheduled public hearings, which we have none for this meeting. And it takes us to item 11, other matters to be reviewed. First item is appointment of a new vice chairperson. Do we have any nominations?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Matt Stanley if he's willing to accept that position.
If anyone else wants it, they're more than welcome for it, so.
Hearing none, I think you're our sole candidate.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor of appointing Mr.
You need a second.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Corey. Motion from Mr. Bowles, support from Mr. Algen. All in favor of appointing Mr. Stanley as our new vice chairperson?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thanks, Tim. Can't have all the fun.
Next is the item I asked to be added was to plan for a master plan review in an upcoming meeting. Specifically for industrial flex zones for the border residential properties. As I had said, that was based on the input we had from residents whose properties neighbored industrial flex zone properties, and the concern they had with warehouses or office buildings or whatever literally being built feet from their backyard. And I just kind of think that's maybe not a good fit in a residential area. So we can, obviously, I'm not in for a decision tonight, that's a future thing, so. If I'm alone in this, we won't discuss it, but, if not, we shall.
Has the county officially released their update? Because I think weren't they going through an update?
They
of
just
the-
approved it last night at the
Was
county
just approved
commissioner
last
meeting.
night?
Yeah, it's finalized now,
I
their
think it would
master
be a
plan.
good idea to get that and look at it all at the same time.
So, I don't know, I would like to, Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, if we could hear from Paul, because he would be someone that could explain this process to us. I know we did a full review, was it in 18? Somewhere in there?
Sounds right.
And then we did an update in 23.
Yep.
So it's every 5 years, so technically 28. I know we can continue to update, but generally, when does a whole revamp go on?
So the State Planning Enabling Act requires you to at least look at your plan every 5 years. You don't have to take action on it every 5 years. It could be as simple as doing a review saying, hey, we've looked at the different elements of the plan. Usually we can help you go through a process to kind of evaluate the different things that are appropriate to look at. you know, are the policies and values and goals kind of still the same? Does everything generally meet with what you believe to still be the township's positions? When we looked at it in 2018, when we looked at it in 2023, after that 5-year period, it was determined that, yeah, there were probably some things that we needed to tweak. So we sent out a plan, notice of intent to plan. That's a requirement of the state act, so that we let, it basically puts everybody on notice, neighbors, county, utility providers, and the public, that the planning commission is intending to do a plan, or to look at the plan. That can be as robust or as simple as you want it to be. Usually I would recommend that we have a initial conversation, as Mr. Williams has suggested, and you kind of make some determinations, like what aspects of the plan do you think are appropriate? I mean, you guys are representatives of the community, so you have been appointed to be in this position because you are in communication with your friends and neighbors and coworkers, et cetera, and kind of understand the sentiment of folks. But you may then decide, okay, we're gonna look at these various aspects. There's one particular piece that you've mentioned, but maybe there's some other things that you wanna talk about. And then make a determination about how involved you want that process to be. Do you wanna do a community survey? Do you wanna hold some open houses? Do you wanna just have a discussion amongst yourselves? So I would say a plan-to-plan meeting is usually appropriate if you determine that you are going to do some amount of master plan evaluation. Does that answer your question?
It does.
And make sense?
So it sounds pretty involved, and I know it is, or it can be.
It can be.
And I guess the cost, if it was a full-blown, I mean, because I know we have a lot, as a township, we have a lot on our plate at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of cost would that kind of be? I mean, just a round number, I understand.
Really, that kind of plan to plan helps us figure out a scope of what you're looking at, and so then we can, as your planning consultants, put together a kind of estimate of how many hours that would be and what that would look like, and if it's something that you want to move forward with, we can even provide probably like a menu of options depending on what that scope looks like.
So to change a particularly part of, because the master plan is somewhat of a living document, right? I mean, it can be modified at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Is it advisable to go in and change one section, or should you probably take a look at the whole thing?
If you are aware that there's a particular area that is not working for you, if it's evident that there's something that needs to be focused on, then looking at that one piece could be perfectly appropriate.
Okay. That's all the questions I had, Mr. Chair.
I have a question. So when you mentioned inviting like the residents to come in
Yep.
and be part of it, how did you determine like a meeting location? Did you determine the location? Did you have people sign up, or did you say, here it's going to be at this place, and if it held 100 people and 150 show up? How did you make people express interest ahead of time?
So the last couple of planning efforts that we've done, we did a survey and got some survey responses back. It wasn't overwhelming. We held a community open house, and it was, some folks showed up. Based on the number of people that we've had show up for just public hearings on rezonings or other questions, we may want to think about a larger venue. But you all might have a better gauge of that as well, right? Like,
Right.
depending on the topic that we're talking about, if it's a certain area, maybe it will be the folks who are in the immediate vicinity who want to show up and comment on it.
Commissioner Bolt, the township board just passed 2 or 3 meetings ago a overview of the master plan.
So I believe that was the ordinances that we were
ordinances.
going to be going through, which
Okay.
we have yet to start, but
Okay.
that's coming down,
Got it.
that's in process, so.
I have feedback on that I was going to provide
Oh, okay.
later.
Yeah, it's how much we have on our plate and how much we can take on at one time, so. Me personally, I think it's a good idea to open it up. I think we have a lot more in community engagement as of late, maybe since the data center became involved. And I think there might be a whole lot more interest in people taking an interest in how they want their community to look. And I think that's been lacking in the past. I think you would probably agree by your comment that we got some responses. Hopefully we would get more, right? If something like that was to happen, but.
So I think whenever we engage in one of these processes, we always want as much feedback as possible, because the master plan is and should be a community-driven document. I mean, the reason we put these plans together is to make sure that we are planning for the community that the people who live here and want to live here want, right? So the more input we get, the better. We could potentially do something like start with a simple survey just to understand, what people are interested in. And oftentimes a survey can also help inform people about what the plan already says, right? So many people don't know that there's a plan, or maybe even a zoning ordinance, until something happens next door that they get interested in. So oftentimes the first time somebody is coming to talk to you about planning policies or zoning policies, it's because, they're upset or concerned about something that's happening next door. So when we've been developing surveys lately, a lot of times we won't just ask a question, we also say, did you know, the community policy is this or is located here, and do you feel it's doing its job? Or so it can be an educational piece as much as it can be a feedback tool.
Oh, great.
Would this reset that 5-year clock?
Yes.
I presume so. I think it would also might matter how deep we go into it.
Well, and I think the question of whether you're obligated to make changes or not, the 5-year is like the minimum that you have to do, but you can do changes anytime. As you mentioned, this is a living document, right? So it does, there are some hoops that you have to jump through, if you will, like some obligatory steps that you have to take, which add, a seriousness to it, right? It's not like, well, we could just decide we're going to change something and go in and change a few pages. You've got to do the notice of intent to plan. You've got to send it out for a certain review period after making a recommendation to the board. You have to hold a public hearing. So there are like 5 or 6 steps that are obligatory. But then, like I said before, you can make that process as involved as you want.
Very good. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so do we have a motion to place that discussion on a future agenda? I guess we'll be kicking off the master plan review.
Can we make a motion to put it on for future discussion now that, because it was kind of all thrown at us tonight, so
Right.
we would have a month to come back and maybe do a little bit more discussion and maybe talk with some people and decide if that's something we want to recommend to the board. I think we probably should discuss it a little bit more amongst ourselves,
Sure.
give it some time to think. So
That's a good
idea.
if we can put it on the agenda maybe for the next meeting as a discussion point. And we'll have a better understanding, I think, or at least some more time to look for it.
Okay.
I don't think you need a motion for that, do you, Jonathan?
As long as that's what you guys all want, we don't need a motion.
Yeah, anyone opposed? Discussion about master plans?
Okay, I think it's a good start.
Are we gonna work out like a discussion topic, like an agenda, so that we kind of know what we're gonna be talking about, rather than, so it can help us be prepared a little bit more for a discussion, or? Like, I don't know, what does the discussion look like?
I think if there's something that sticks in your mind when you've been going through the ordinances or the zoning and see things that don't align with what maybe the community believes, maybe we can maybe make a list of what those items might be. I know you've mentioned,
Yeah, that may be what we'll do at the next meeting, is build that agenda for them.
but I've also seen areas that have a lot of multifamily for future zoning, which I don't know if that's really appropriate without the infrastructure in place, but,
Sure.
so there's a lot of different things, areas I think we could look at.
And the thing with the future land use plan is, there's no timeline on that, it just
Oh, absolutely.
sometime in the future, could be tomorrow, could be 100 years.
It seems to be a common misconception that if it's on the future master plan,
It has to have a.
yeah,
Set in stone.
it's not.
It seems the future master plan kind of holds us hostage. We were just at the county planning commission meeting where they were recommending for that piece of property at Thule and Bowen Road to be rezoned. And one of their arguments was that all the property around there is already single-family residential. Well, most of those houses are on 2 to 10 acre parcels. So it's not really conducive to like medium density, which that would be. But even the 20 homes that would be allowed there now would bring in a lot more traffic than those roads can handle. In the future, and it was brought up, the roads is one thing, and that planning commission said, well, that's between the Livingston County Road Commission and the township. That's got nothing to do with the county planning commission. But 20 homes is too much traffic for that road. But that's water over the dam because it's already zoned that way so the applicant can build the 20 homes. But I'd like to see it restricted to that and no more. So.
And weren't they asking for like double that number?
You talk about the 44?
Yeah,
The
40,
44?
well, but that's what his site plan showed, their plat showed 43 homes, but then he wouldn't commit.
Right, but
He
you
said-
saying 20 homes, I wasn't sure we were.
20 homes is too much to,
That-
for those
cur-
roads to
Currently, you
handle.
could probably
Oh.
put 20 homes on.
But we're already
roughly,
stuck
give or
with that
take.
because that's what it's zoned, so you can't, put the genie back in the bottle. But as far as, the future, if he decides just to back out of the whole deal, did we close on that piece of property? Or, so if he backs out and he decides he doesn't wanna go through with the closing on it, then we can rezone it back to agricultural.
If I may, I just want to remind you that that's not an agenda item tonight, so it's probably best not to discuss that particular item.
Oh,
But-
I thought, well, it's just the zoning in general.
Zoning in general, yes. So I think to your point, yes, there are some elements that would be appropriate, and I would, as your staff planner, request that you do come with a list of elements that you want to think about, that you want to look at, and there are certainly ways that we can probably add policy for specific issues that, we recognize through the work that we've done, maybe related to specific projects that you've looked at, specific questions, where we say, oh, we don't have enough cover for an issue like that, for example, so we can delve into that. So from our perspective, I would say, yes, please come with a list of elements that you want to look at, and then that will help us answer that question that you asked before about what that scope would look like and how far we might need to go.
But it should be more public education too, because most people don't know what the property around them is zoned for, especially, in that area.
Right.
Because they're all single-family residential, and then all of a sudden, oh, we can build a 5-story office building right here in the middle of the subdivision. It's like, or, single-family residential, or we can put a, 80-house complex right here, or whatever. People don't know it until it's too late, and so I think public education's the biggest component of it.
Well, it's something we can work out after the discussion points, next meeting, so, but put it on the list.
Mr. Commissioner, I do have one quick question. With the county issuing their new map, township doesn't have to follow that, that's just a guidance. The township can do whatever they choose to do, is that
Correct.
within legal limits? Yeah, within reason. Okay, thank you.
talk. Moving on, we're to our business items. First item up is, let's see. Michigan Underground Specialists, AKA Ditch Witch, has a preliminary site plan review for us. We have the applicant. Sure. Actually,
You want me to do my,
yes, let's hear from our planner. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead there, sir. My apologies.
I'll just give a quick brief overview and then we'll let them fill in the blanks. So this is as you mentioned, a preliminary site plan. We've seen a couple of iterations of this, so we've worked with them through a number of issues already. It's located at 3401 West Grand River. It is an existing site. It's located in an industrial flex zone. What they're proposing is the addition of a equipment storage facility to the west, I believe, of the existing office space. It's currently improved with a couple of buildings that are surrounded by outdoor storage and parking areas. The ordinance does allow for outdoor storage if it's completely enclosed and screened from external visibility beyond such storage areas, and it's additionally regulated by section 14.46. The total site's 7.5 acres. Like I said, there's a couple buildings there, a one-story brick and metal building and a one-story accessory building on the southeast side of the site. There are, as a existing site, there are no natural features on the site. The plan does comply with all of the bulk requirements related to area, height, width, and setbacks. There are 2 existing access points. We did ask that they provide some evidence from the Livingston County Road Commission that the expansion of the site is still acceptable based on their existing road configurations. They're meeting our parking requirements. I think we're asking for a couple of additional landscaping elements. So we've calculated the landscaping requirements based on the entire frontage of the site. The applicant will probably want to discuss that with you. As I mentioned before, the outdoor storage is permitted as long as they have the appropriate screening based on section 14.46. What they're proposing right now is, I believe, a chain link fence with slats, which are not permitted. So it would have to be some kind of solid fence. We worked with them on some lighting issues, which they corrected and is fine now. No issue with the trash enclosure. So really just a couple of outstanding items. We would recommend approval of the preliminary site plan with the condition that they address the outstanding items on the final. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Well, you've covered it very well here, sir. It's, as you said, a couple landscaping items and a fence. Is, the approval from the road commission.
And that would probably be in the form of a letter, not a permit, because they do have existing.
Right, they have an existing traffic plan over there.
So it may be a letter saying that it's acceptable as it is.
Yep. Sorry for jumping the gun earlier.
Paul? Stay seated.
Sure.
The fence, I mean, you don't want us to match what we have already? I guess that's my big question. We already have chain link fence around the entire vicinity. We're just asking to move, the parking lot over or add on. So you'd be going chain link to some type of wood or privacy type fence. I mean, to me, that has an aesthetic issue. And then we got a bunch of shrubs going in front of that fence. So I guess that's one of my bigger questions.
Mr. Chair, I did have a question. I was waiting until we had both presentations done, but my question is more to you, Paul. So he's absolutely right. They have a chain link fences surrounding the whole property now. And all you're trying to do is basically move the fence over I don't know how many feet it is, 60 feet, but it's gonna be the same. Do we, as a planning commission, do we have, I know we have some leeway with the landscaping. Is this a situation where it could be like grandfathered in? Cause,
So typically with legal non-conforming situations, so something that exists that doesn't conform with the way the ordinance is written now would be allowed to be maintained as a legal nonconformity as long as it stays the way it is. When you make a change to it, typically you have to bring that into compliance with the current zoning ordinance. So I don't know that there is any space in the ordinance for you as the planning commission to make that decision. I know you're asking that question of me, and I'm just presenting the ordinance as it is. I would think that they would have to, if they were gonna deviate from the requirements of the ordinance, get a variance and demonstrate that they have some kind of hardship or something like that. So there's no opportunity for you to waive that requirement as far as I can tell.
So, does that mean we're redoing our entire fence if we go this route?
Just the part that you touch.
Okay.
I mean, if you wanted to redo the whole thing, that'd be cool.
so Jonathan, maybe you can help us out here with being the zoning administrator. I know we had something similar with the ZBA years ago on on the expansion of a non-conforming use. I really don't want to have to make anybody replace their whole fence. Actually, the way our ordinance is written, it's got to be like a wood, or if you ask me, once a wood fence is out there for a while, it looks kind of, some of them can look pretty bad. Where your chain link fence and the landscaping that you have out there, I've said this the last time, that I think your landscaping is one of the nicer. It has a lot of curb appeal from Grand River, right? And I know you have landscaping in front of it, which gives them the shielding, I think. Would that be correct? I mean, so the storage needs to be screened, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a fence. Would that be a correct statement, Paul?
So subsection 6 of 14.46 says such storage of material shall be screened from public view and adjacent properties by a solid wall or fence, which is no less than the height of the material being stored and no greater than 12 feet in height unless otherwise stated in the ordinance. Chain link fences with slats or mesh are not permitted as screening methods.
So the screening is not sufficient, it's gotta have a fence.
Right. Now, you do have leeway with landscaping, right? So you can make determinations on landscaping if there's existing landscaping that meets the intent or the requirements of the ordinance. You know, you do have that leeway, but not for this particular outdoor storage element based on the specific language that's in here.
It's just the new location that's fenced in with the new fence. The rest of it stays the same.
Correct.
So it can't be like a living wall of arborvitaes, right?
The language is very specific here. As I always say, if you don't like the language, we can always change it, but but not tonight. We gotta go through the process to do that.
So we can apply for a variance and hope for the best? Because, I mean, at this point, our budget's been blown out of the water, and we're actually tabling until next fiscal year, so that'd be November 1st. So I have some time. We're gonna be going back to our budget and preparing to pay for all of this. So I guess if we gotta make changes, now's the time, to plan for it. Right. Well, we wanted to do it next month, but that's unfortunate, so. We will most likely have it in our budget for next year, if everything goes smooth. The only other thing else coming to this meeting for is what if we just took the fence for our property line? Is there anything that I need to know going into that? Cause now that our budget has been blown out of the water, we're kinda revisiting a couple things and
So I think that would be something you'd need to come in and discuss with our zoning administrator. Would that be correct, Jonathan?
I mean, if he's changing his plan, he needs to resubmit the plan so that Paul and his crew can review it.
Right.
So,
But you can give them guidelines on how the fence needs to be, or if they come forward with something else?
On the fence, I mean, Paul was pretty clear on what the
Right.
ordinance says.
Yeah.
I think he's just asking, is it okay if we push it back towards the property line further?
Is there a setback requirement for a fence at the property line?
Yeah, I think we can look at that. Yeah, by all means, I would say have a conversation with us before you go and tell your engineer to change anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we're a little closer.
Well, so Paul, help me to understand though. You said if it was, like a hardship case, what does that mean?
So with any variance, there are a number of findings that the zoning board of appeals has to make in favor of the applicant. And so they have to make a determination that there's some kind of unique circumstances on the property that would prevent them from meeting the requirements that everybody else would be required to meet. So I always caution people before they submit an application for a variance, to look through those findings and see if they're just hoping, because, you know, $500 in hope, or I don't know what the variance costs these days, but won't necessarily get you there unless you meet those criteria. And so I always encourage applicants to take a hard look at those things and make sure they have a good case for why they would be approved before they go down that route.
Going along the same lines you said, I don't think that this would particularly meet that. I was thinking more of a continuation of a non-conforming use.
Right.
That was one case we had in front of us on the ZBA, and that's a different type of circumstance, but.
I would have to look at
Yeah.
the specifics around that, and one of the findings is that you don't look at any other variance to grant the variance that you're looking at, so.
Right. So,
Would either of you mind shutting
I know, I
shutter
thought
just a
about
little
that,
bit?
'cause
You just push on the slide.
That enough?
Not that one. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Stand on the wheelchair.
It's still not very good.
Still looks like it's in.
Yeah, that's-
Can we do up? Can you do up?
Oh, yeah, that's great, thank you very much. Now I can see all your faces.
Yeah, put it back down.
Hey now.
Okay, well, I think we've got some direction. Did you have any additional questions or concerns?
I was just gonna bring up landscaping.
Sure.
You know, we don't meet the ordinance if we do the full frontage. We kind of looked at it like, just trying to take the half that we're putting the new storage on. We didn't really want to get into the right of way of, you know, the existing landscape that they have. So that's why we proposed to burn along the whole storage side, and put as many trees as we could put there. You know, if we need to add some additional trees, we probably can, but that was just something we thought would be fast.
so it would be different than what you're planning with what is submitted in front of us?
No, it would be that.
It would be that,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, it looks like you put a lot there,
We just didn't do anything on the east side.
And
Just not touching the existing.
Yeah.
and I think you were just like one shrub short or something.
That's the next plan.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's, I can see why you wouldn't want to screen your building from the road. I mean, it's a nice looking building, and it's got your business name right on the front of it, and it's, there's no reason to. So, yeah, we can be flexible on landscaping as long as, you know, it's, an effort's made and it's a good plan. Okay, if there's nothing else, we can, oh, wait, we need a motion on this. We're looking for a motion to table approval of the site plan review until additional feedback regarding fencing and confirmation from the road commission.
Mr. Chair,
Sure.
I could suggest that if you felt comfortable giving a conditional approval, that would give them the flexibility to either wait and come back with an updated plan or move forward with the plan as they are looking at it now, so it doesn't set them back.
Gotcha, that is a better idea. Thank you, sir.
Can we ask the applicant, which would you prefer?
I don't know.
I understand that.
Wouldn't you rather move forward because the weather's so sketchy here in Michigan? Moving forward is, yeah.
So there's no possible way we're gonna be able to match the existing fence at all? I mean, I shouldn't even go down that rabbit hole.
I would certainly look into it. It's a matter of discussing it with zoning, and if it's something we get a variance for. I don't know how likely it is to pass though due to that way the zoning, the ordinance is written. How long of a section of fence are we talking about? Is this the length?
By 420.
There's a fence that goes around.
So we're, from the road, it's almost 60 feet.
It says area.
Blinded by the long strip.
So it would be this piece out here.
It's a situation, I'm happy with the chain link fence. Unfortunately, the ordinance doesn't allow us to do that. And we don't have the authority to change it, so.
And we're, corporate owned, so if we go that, we're probably gonna end up replacing the entire fence because of our image. That's just how it's gonna be probably. It's gonna open a can of worms for me, but, I mean, you know, we're just trying to add more storage for our growing business.
Sure.
So, it is what it is. We'll just add more to the budget, hopefully.
I know this is the second time you've been back here and, you know, you had the parking there and you got rid of that, you put the landscaping in and we were,
We're busting at the seams.
I wish we would have
I hope
addressed the fence issue at that point too, so.
I hope they don't tell us we're gonna go buy property somewhere else, cause that's a move that they might wanna make, so we're on that portal.
So is a conditional approval,
Yeah.
is that would that work for you?
I know we're not supposed to ask questions, but I feel like it's really relevant here. May I ask a question? Suggestion? Or maybe I can direct it to them and not to you.
Sure.
We're talking about updating the ordinances right now, and if you have support from them for changing this ordinance in this round of updates, you might consider asking if the timing of that might be congruent with your plan, because it seems like more flexibility from the planning commission would be better and would suit their desires to want to do a little bit more discretion. And you said you're pushing it to November anyway.
Yep. Thank you.
I don't know if that has any legs, but we can try.
Do you want to take the motion? Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to conditionally approve PC 2026-02, Michigan Underground Specialist Ditch Widget at 3401 West Grand River Avenue, preliminary site plan review, subject to resolution of the screening fence issue and a letter from the Livingston County Road Commission stating the driveway is sufficient.
Very good. Any second or friendly amendments?
I'll support that.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Bolt, support from Mr. Stanley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Can-
opposed?
No. Question, am I still allowed to ask a question?
It's not gonna change anything.
So, just for clarification, for his purposes, so is he allowed to break ground at all? Is he allowed to begin? Or can he not do anything until this fence thing is,
So this is a
Address.
preliminary site plan approval,
Correct.
so they still have to come back for final.
okay,
And it sounds like they're gonna be taking some time to retool and think about what they're doing, so they
Okay.
may not come back from final anytime quickly. If you all decide to make a change to the ordinance in the meantime, you know, we are doing a major ordinance update right now.
Mhm.
So when we get to that section of the ordinance on fencing, that may be something that we, look into, right?
Okay.
So
Thanks.
there may be bigger fence issues.
thanks,
that we-
Paul, I appreciate the clarification.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, very well. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Our next item on is PC 2026-03 for RMD Commercial LLC at 4590 West Grand River Avenue, a preliminary and final site plan review. Hasn't even been that long today, I'm stumbling over my tongue. Hey, Paul, what can you tell us about this, sir?
Okay, so this is a proposed project at 4590 West Grand River. It is located in a neighborhood service commercial zoning district. It's on 1.55 acres of land that is currently vacant. They are proposing what I believe is an office building use for the sale of HVAC equipment. The offices for shops and local contractors and service providers, including retail sales of parts, equipments, and supplies, and outdoor storage, are a permitted use in this zoning district, subject to the same section, 14.406. So again, all outdoor storage would have to be screened, but I don't believe that they are planning any here. They've got a building with a couple of overhead doors. The building is 48 by 100 two-story building with building elevations provided on pages A111 and A112. The site is surrounded by land that is zoned or planned for neighborhood service commercial. It's vacant to the north and east. There's commercial use to the west or northwest and south across the street, and some ag land catty corner to that. There don't appear to be any natural features on the site. This is a second iteration of the site plan that we've seen, so the applicant has addressed some of our comments already. We have a couple of comments about labeling the setbacks appropriately in the table of data. So they are shown correctly, they're labeled on the plan correctly, but it's really just kind of a technical issue. So that's not a big deal. I would not call that a showstopper at all. We're looking for some specification on the material for the site, whether it's asphalt or concrete. I don't have this listed here, and I can't remember off the top of my head if we have gotten approval from Livingston County Road Commission on this one. The applicant can probably speak to that if they're here.
I don't believe we have yet.
Okay, so we don't have that listed as a requirement, but certainly that's something that we would want to see. They appear to meet all of our parking requirements, and landscape is in good shape, except for that this is the one bush that's missing. But so again, we would just recommend that as a condition of approval. I think they are taking out the existing sign, so any new sign would require a permit from the zoning administrator. They do have a proposed trash enclosure. They provided some site circulation indication to show how a fire truck would get in and turn around on the site. So with those couple of little cleanup items, we would recommend approval. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
No, as you said, it's a couple small things, a bush and some updates on the, some of the paperwork. It meets the requirements, it's just not entered properly, is that correct for the
Setbacks.
side yard setbacks?
Yep.
Okay.
We just like to have everything correct on there because that ends up being the document of record for this site that we keep on file. Yep.
Okay. This is a single business use, correct?
As far as I understand it, yes, and the applicant is here, so you can certainly ask them about that. And I believe this is just a preliminary, so you will see this again before it's finally approved.
Well, they have it marked as a.
Combined?
Combined.
Sorry. I apologize. Combined preliminary final, so if you guys make a approval tonight, that would be the last time you see it, but there are only a couple of conditional outstanding items that we see.
Now, gentlemen, tell us about your project. If you wish. I mean, you're in the last row, so yeah, please.
Good evening, everybody. So I'm the owner of Precision Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning. This has been a project we've been working on, Jonathan, for quite some time now. So, yeah, this is going to be our home office, home base, warehouse, where my service technicians, install technicians will report to work every day, and our office manager and her staff will work, of course, and we intend to be here for quite some time. So, the building itself is, as you said, 100 by 48, 2 stories. We intend to work out of the warehouse, and there will be, you asked about multiple tenants, or multiple commercial space. We do have a potential rental suite, a smaller suite that we intend to rent out to a similar business potentially, with the intention of within 3 to 5 years taking over that suite 100% and growing into it. So ultimately, long term, the idea would be for Precision Comfort to own and operate the entire building, start to finish. So, and then the corrections, I did speak with my site plan engineer this evening, and he did say that the corrections are easily done, so we can submit that here,
Great.
rather quickly.
And Jonathan, have we seen the engineering review?
Thought you got the
From
engineer.
Spicer?
From Spicer,
Yeah,
we
I
got
did, I believe.
Did they have any outstanding concerns or questions?
I have a few too many projects going on at the
That's
moment,
fair.
so yeah, I don't remember offhand.
Here, actually, I think I have it right here.
Yeah, that's one of the packets, dated April
I
8th.
thought there was two.
Oh, there you go.
And it's just the typical recommendation, the plan should be reviewed and approved by the fire marshal, township planner, drain commissioner, road commission, and health department. Health department's there due to a well being established.
So do we have anything from the drain commission from, I didn't see a report from the drain commission. Maybe you can address this too, because I noticed all your draining in the front, there's an outlet pipe into the road commission ditch. But the road commission says you can't put any more water in their ditch than what's already coming in there. Has that been alleviated somehow?
As far as I know, my site plan engineer addressed that, as far as I'm aware.
We don't have any documentation that the drain commission says that, or the road commission, because the road commission specifically mentions that you can't increase the flow in their ditch.
Okay.
In their email, you probably saw it too, right?
Okay. Jonathan, does that track?
We have not received anything to my knowledge from the drain commissioner's office on this.
Okay. Would that come after a permit is applied for?
So generally, you have to pay for a review from the drain commissioner's office, so that could be why we haven't received it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Would that hinder a possible final site plan approval then?
It could. We should have something. I mean, it could be conditioned upon acceptance by the drain commission and the road commission. I did have one small question though, because you've really done a good job about getting this. Preliminary and final is something we don't normally see a lot of, but you've done a lot of work to get there. So I'm thinking curb appeal on Grand River when you're looking at this, because some people have, it's a corrugated steel building, right? It's a pole barn type structure. but I'm trying to picture it from Grand River with your landscaping and your stuff out there. I don't know how much of the building you're actually gonna see. Have you thought about doing anything to at least the south side there to make it a little more visually appealing, curb appeal, other than just the solid color? Maybe, I don't know if I read somewhere like halfway up you were gonna change colors or something, or?
No, we weren't gonna change colors. We did, I don't know if it's on our, in this stuff packet or not, but on, the one elevation drawing, we do have an overhang over the front door, which is on the south side, so that'd be kind of, you know, little
Right.
differentiated, little,
I think I'm looking at that picture, but everything else is pretty bland and brown.
for the most part, yeah, we're trying to keep it simple, you know?
I've seen some of them though where they'll do a color 4 or 5 feet up and then, break it up.
Okay.
I don't know if is that an increased cost? I don't know.
If that's minimal, I suppose, but, I mean, it's something we need to do, I suppose we can do that.
And Spicer's report also had mentioned the fire marshal, but I think that's already been covered. Those were my 2 questions, the curb appeal and the drainage issue. I don't know if anyone else had anything else.
I personally don't have a problem with the curb appeal. I've seen buildings
looks
like
nice.
that before,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that.
Thank you.
It could look fine with the right landscaping in front of it, you'll never see it, so.
Well, right, that's,
Well, the landscape will at least break up
Yeah.
the view, so it's not a big round square. It's got some nice flowering shrubs in front.
It'll look a heck of a lot better than it does now.
I got a,
That's right.
I got a quick question for Paul.
Yes.
With him having a possible tenant unit, does that change anything with parking requirements or anything, or are we still all kosher?
The parking requirements are based on either square footage or employees, and so I believe
Okay.
that whatever they calculated, the amount seemed to be acceptable based on the size of the building. I'm gonna jump back into it real quick.
There was a question about, concrete or asphalt.
oh, yes.
Decision for the drive or the.
We do intend to use concrete for the whole thing.
Kind of thought if we're gonna have trucks coming in and out, we're gonna want
Yeah,
something more
yeah.
sturdy than asphalt.
Absolutely.
Well, your hours of operation,
Typically,
typical 9 to 5?
8 to 5, yeah, 8 to 5 for our business. And then, of course, we have 24-hour service, but that's done, remote typically.
Okay.
See, I thought my site plan engineer had maybe addressed the email we got from Livingston County Road Commission. But I wanted to check and see if that was in there. Let's see this. Of course, now I can't find it.
Yeah, we got the email from Tim Miller regarding the, commercial driveway approach permit application.
Yes. Yeah, Livingston County Road Commission.
Looks like the site plan was done before that letter.
It was.
Going by the dates on the site plan. It was done 3/31, it was 4/2.
Number 5 in A Civil Engineering's comments, he does note, notes and details have been added to sheet 3 of the plan to show the approach adjustments and deceleration paint striking, as requested by Livingston County Road Commission. I guess that's not drainage. I guess I would assume he would have put that into his plan.
just to clarify, on page 5 of your report, it says the lighting plan was provided on sheet 9 shows that lighting will trespass on the neighboring properties. Was that clarified? Or because it says items to be addressed as none? You see the last sentence on lighting?
That may have been an oversight. I think that was something that was an issue from the first go-round, but was addressed by the applicant.
Has been, okay.
I
great.
believe so, but I can verify it. Hang on. I think we got the foot candles down to less than 0 before you get to the property line here, so.
Okay, it's all
I
addressed.
think it was a editing error in our report.
And just to clarify, also, Paul, you were talking about straightening out the numbers on, the setbacks were okay, but how did you want that addressed?
So just on the site plan sheet, page 3, there's a table on the left side that's provided that indicates the setbacks that are inconsistent with what it shows on the plan.
So it would just be a correction?
Just a
of-
correction, yeah. The physical location as depicted on the plan layout is correct. It's just that table that I don't think got updated. And I think he indicated that his engineer is aware of that and has no problem fixing it.
Okay.
Okay. So essentially, I think we're pending some feedback from the road commission regarding drainage, is that correct?
And from the drain department too.
So
We can condition the approval to those.
if you make the approval conditioned on those elements and anything in that review or work with those outside agencies changes the plan to an extent where it crosses a threshold that is identified in our site plan section of the ordinance, then they would be, they would have to come back before you for a plan amendment. If the plan is amended within a certain threshold, that's something that can be done administratively as long as it doesn't change the nature of the plan, or, I don't know, I think it's like a horizontal move of the building by like 5 feet or something. Something like that. There is a threshold that we would review. If it changed significantly, it would have to come back in front of you.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, well, if we have no more questions for our applicant, we entertain a conditional approval motion. Well, pending approval from as usual, Kansas bureaucrats, our marshal, planner, drain, road and health.
Mr. Chair, just to clarify, we're looking for the road commission and private state to say that the runoff can be handled from, at that location.
Right, that's a road commissioner, the commission, and I would presume the drain commission. Yes, that is one thing the road commissioner said, is that stormwater discharge onto the road drainage system shall not present an increase.
And you don't foresee that being a problem?
I was just gonna say, I mean, it's designed that way right now, so I can't imagine that what we're gonna do is gonna change anything. It's pitched 4 feet from the back of the property to the road anyway, so, and there are remnants of a old detention pond that was there from a previous whatever, you know, from decades ago, so I can't imagine that would be an issue, but, you know, of course, we'll go through the proper channels.
Mr. Chair, if you were to condition your approval on the outstanding issues from the planner's review and the engineer's review, I think it would cover all those outside agency approvals as well.
Good point, thank you, sir.
Anything else from me?
Just a
I
motion.
don't.
I don't think so.
Appreciate it.
Okay, well, we have a conditional motion for approval of this site plan review. Anybody willing?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion, conditionally approve PC 2026-03 RMB Commercial LLC 4590 West Grand River Ave for a preliminary and a final site plan review pending the planner's report and the engineer report and the feedback from the Livingston County Road Commission and Livingston County Drain Commission.
Very good, we have a motion from Commissioner Stanley. Support. Mr. Alchin, is a second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, that takes us to item 13, our closing call to the public. Any glowing reviews on the work we've done? Huh?
You guys have done great. You guys have done a great job.
We tried.
It's better than I could do. I'm Angela Barbash at 4211 Crandall. I wanted to come up and talk about the master plan update conversation. So I have a suggested agenda for the plan to plan meeting where you would be preparing to scope out the work to be done here, which is what Paul had suggested. So I think the first question you need to answer is why now? What's the key drivers? You got into some of these discussions tonight, but this is, I think, the more robust discussion you need. Then scope, is it a full rewrite or targeted amendment? What are the priority sections? Stakeholders and roles, so who's involved? Is there any advisory function for the community? Similar to with the data centers, how you went through that conversation. Process and timeline, so phases, milestones, and Paul's already outlined the statutory requirements. And public engagement, I would hope that there would be a really robust public engagement this time around. As you noted, there's so many more residents paying attention. So what are the methods and the input handling for that? And then resources and budget, hearing from staff on what are the resources that could be, what are other time constraints, what kind of funding could fuel this, and then what are the next steps for who owns those next steps, and what's the deadline. And then I think an important question to ask also is if an update was made just 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, what was missed either from feedback, or was there a sentiment shift about the industrial flex zoning around the airport in particular? So what led to there being such a outcry from the community this time around that didn't show up in the last updating process, I think is an important question to ask. Was it that opinions changed? Was it that the engagement was not very strong? Was it that the residents did voice their concerns but they weren't listened to? That's a key question I have on my mind, and you might apply that same question to other hot topics that are coming up around the master plan project. And that I really hope that it's a robust process. In another community that I lived in, they did charrettes, which is kind of a planning process with a lot of visuals involved. Paul, have you been involved in charrettes? Yeah. And they took it into neighborhoods to, like you said, to get the opinions of people that were right there and made sure that they hit different places of the community versus everyone come to one place and expect everyone to kind of come in from around the township to one location to voice their opinion, which is really difficult with childcare and, a number of other things that keep people from giving their opinion. So I hope you'll go beyond just digital surveys or public hearings, and then you get into the community, and there's lots of opportunities around how to get into the community because we have so many community events. So if the timing can work out, and you can be at the farmer's market, or you can be at Balloon Fest or Melon Fest, I think those are all great opportunities to leverage people in a place and time. So thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback. Sorry, just taking some notes. Anybody else care to step up? Seeing no takers, close the call to the public and move to our final agenda item. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
People usually jump at that one. Motion to adjourn from Mr. Bowles, a second?
Back to,
Support.
Matt.
Second, Mr. Holman, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
I'll take a copy of your.
Yes, likewise.
yes,